Hi, I'm Katherine Sanders from Sanders Consulting. I'd like to talk a little bit about why collaborative leadership styles are so important. So, collaborative styles are sometimes associated with more feminine or relationship-centric values, right? Whether they're practiced by women or by men, they're practiced by people many times who believe that relationships are a strong value in their lives. And sometimes they get critiqued as seeming like the leader is indecisive, or that they're wasting time by asking other people's opinions, or that the approach is just impractical because it takes so long, or because the leader then is actually assumed to be weak because they're not making all of the decisions by themselves. And what I've noticed over time is that those critiques many times come from people who subscribe to a much more hierarchical command and control sort of leadership. They view successful leaders as people who can quickly tell other people what to do and then move on, right? So they value the speed of moving fast up front. Um, and it is true that collaborative styles can take more time, but they're actually more practical long term in most situations. So it's not that they're the best choice for every single situation. If you do have an actual emergency where time is critical and there's a very important outcome that everyone needs to achieve very quickly, then you probably don't have time for an inclusive, systematic decision-making process. And then command and control is actually very appropriate. But most situations in organizations are not emergency situations. And if they are, if everything is an emergency and nothing is routinized, then we've actually got a different problem other than leadership style, right? We've got an actual systems issue that's beyond style. But for those day-to-day decisions that affect people's working lives, inclusive decision-making processes are super important because they actually can improve employee health, and they can improve the long-term productivity and sustainability of the organization. They do that by improving the quality of the decisions being made. That means that the people doing the work actually get to inform leadership about what the real issues are in the work before decisions that affect that work are made. And so you get better quality of decisions. Your people can alert you to other issues that are leading to the issue you're trying to address, or other processes that are associated with the process that you're trying to improve. Inclusive, systematic decision-making processes can also improve employee health by reducing the stress that employees have. People know that they're going to have an impact. They're going to be able to say what they believe is the best solution to the problem, and they're going to be heard, and they're going to be taken seriously. It doesn't mean that everybody gets everything that they want, but by the time the decisions are made, they understand why that particular set of decisions was made. These processes can improve psychological safety in organizations, meaning that people know that it's not problematic for them to speak out. It's actually necessary for them to speak out. And they're more likely to bring up new issues as they evolve, rather than waiting for a big problem to present itself and then have to be solved through a formal process. And over time, by being inclusive and collaborative, you can build trust with your people, right? And your people can build trust with each other because they see the value of the perspectives from very different parts of the process, right? So within the same organization, different groups see different parts of the process, and they can help each other see the whole. Now, as an engineer, what I'd say is that I think collaborative leadership styles are more practical than authoritarian styles, um, because they're just they just work better. Not only are your people willing to tell you what's going on and feeling better about the work that they're doing, but also when you get to the place where you're going to implement changes, they're much more likely to implement the changes that they've helped create. So resistance to change comes up because people weren't involved in the decisions that are going to affect them, right? So if we want to decrease resistance to change and improve the rate and the effectiveness of implementation, we want these inclusive, systematic approaches to decision making. So we want the people doing the work to inform how the work is done. And in engineering, sometimes we use the phrase, we go slow in order to go fast. So we go slow up front, we're collaborative up front, and then when everyone's on the same page, we can implement, and implementation then becomes sustainable and practical, right? So I would say that collaborative leadership styles, although not appropriate in every single situation, are appropriate for most situations and should be much more highly valued. Relationships are important, and in fact, work is based on them. So I hope this is helpful. Take good care.